everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session, we are going to continue with our chapter Noun. This is very important chapter for any exam. In this session, we are going to discuss second part of Noun. It means we have already started Noun in our earlier session and now we are going to continue with it. Okay, so this is part 2 of the chapter Noun. So let's begin this session. First of all, we'll see what we are going to cover in this session. Well, in this session, we will discuss the following topics. First of all, we'll discuss the gender basis noun or noun based on gender. After that, we'll discuss some cases related to noun, and after that, we'll discuss some types of questions that may come or that may appear from this section of English grammar. Okay, so what type of questions occur in your exam that we are going to discuss in this session. Also, we'll discuss some questions or a few errors related to noun in this session. So let's begin this session. Now, first of all, we'll discuss noun on the basis of gender. As I told you before as well, that noun can be further classified into 3 classifications. One is on the gender basis. Okay, that is either the noun can be feminine or masculine, or maybe possible it may have various other genders like neuter gender and common gender. Okay, what are they? We are going to discuss in this session today. Okay, now noun can also be classified on the basis of singular and plural, that is number. Noun can also be classified on the basis of countable and uncountable. Okay, so here we are going to discuss first of all noun on the basis of gender. Noun gender refers to the classification of nouns into different genders, say masculine, feminine, neuter and common genders. Okay, so these are the 4 genders that we cover in noun. First of all, we cover masculine gender, that refers to male members, feminine, that refers to female members. So you can learn M for male, M for masculine, F for female and F for feminine. After that, we have neuter gender and then common gender. Okay, now what are the uses of these gender? What types of noun are covered in which gender? So that all we are going to discuss in this session today. In languages with noun gender, it affects the noun and associated articles, adjectives and pronouns. Now, why is this gender necessary to learn? Just because whenever we write a sentence, we write a noun in that, and when the other parts of a speech which are associated with noun, or the other parts or sections of English grammar which are associated with noun, that is adjectives, as we know well that adjectives, they qualify noun, okay, or any determiner. And if we talk about articles, if we talk about pronouns, they obviously are affected by the gender cases of noun. How? For example, if I'm talking about a girl, okay, if I say the girl is very beautiful, okay, and I want to replace it with a pronoun, so I will use she is very beautiful. Okay, for girl, I will use she. For a boy, I will use he. Or for a pen, that is a thing or an object which is non-living, I will use it. For example, it is a very expensive pen. Okay, so we can say that the gender case, it decides or it affects the usage of pronoun and various adjectives with it. Now, how do adjectives they affect the gender case of noun? For example, you must have heard this many times in your life that for a girl, we say that she's a beautiful girl. Okay, but for a boy, you can say handsome, but you cannot say beautiful. Okay, so that is an adjective which you use accordingly or according to the nouns. Okay, for a boy, you can use handsome. For a girl, you can use beautiful, but you cannot do vice versa. Okay, or you cannot mix them, or you cannot exchange them. You cannot use boy or beautiful word for the boy or handsome girl for handsome word for the girl. Okay, moreover, there are various usages. For example, if we talk about any object, we don't say that this is beautiful object, rather we can say this is nice, this one is good. Okay, or on the basis of effectiveness, we use various other words. For example, for something which is very expensive, we can say this is expensive. Okay, but for a girl who looks very good, we cannot say that this girl is very expensive. That is you can say that will be incorrect, or it will be serving the different meaning, okay, which is not correct or which is a negative sense. Okay, so the associated articles may also affect the gender cases of noun. For example, if we talk about any girl or boy, we can use a girl for any girl, but if I say the girl, it means I'm talking about the specific girl. Okay, so but that is not gender oriented, that is only the definiteness or indefinite oriented. How gender affects noun gender case, sorry, how this gender affects articles, there is another part which we will be discussing later in this session. Okay, so let's continue with this session. Now let us see. First of all, we have masculine gender represents male beings or objects. Now, why I have written objects over here, that is another case that we will be discussing later on. But masculine gender represents male beings. It means when we talk about male members, okay? For example, any boy, any man, or you can say, if I say king, of course, I know well that I'm referring to a male member. Okay, if I say actor, obviously I'm referring to a male member. Okay, so there are various words. If I take that name, we know well that we are talking about a male member. Okay, so when we talk about boy, man, king, these are the examples of masculine gender. Okay, now let us move to the next one. There is feminine gender. Feminine refers to female members, represents female beings or objects. For example, woman, queen, obviously these are female members. Okay, girl, lady. So if I use these words, I'm particularly talking about feminine gender only. Okay, so these words clearly signifies that yes, we are talking about feminine or we are talking about masculine members. Now, why have I taken the word objects over here? Obviously, we can represent persons or people in the classification of masculine or feminine. But how do objects be masculine or feminine? Or how can objects be masculine or feminine? That we will be discussing later on. Now we'll discuss neuter gender. For inanimate objects, concepts, and genderless things, it means something which is non-living or non-human. Now here we will not say non-living, but we say for any non-human thing. Okay, for any non-human thing, we use neuter gender. Why so? If we talk about plants, if we talk about animals, obviously plants and animals, they both are living objects or living beings. Yet we use it with it. Okay, we use neuter gender with them. Why so? Because I cannot say he is very tall plant or he's a very tall tree. No, it is a very tall tree, or it is a very tall plant, or it is a very beautiful plant. Okay, or it is the plant of rose. Okay, like that. So for any non-human things, we use the word neuter gender. Or for inanimate objects, for concepts, for genderless things, it means if the things are non-living as well as non-human, we use neuter gender. Okay, so for non-human and non-living, okay, we use neuter gender always. For example, book, house, tree. So I can say it is a very good book. Okay, or a house, it is a very big house, or it is a very beautiful house. It is a very tall tree. So for these three or various types of these words, we use neuter gender or we apply neuter gender. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Now we have the definition of common gender. This gender is very, very important to learn. Denoting animals of either sex. How? Suppose we talk about a person. Sorry. Suppose if we talk about a person, he by merely reading the name of that person or by merely listening to the name of that particular person, we cannot decide whether we are talking about the male or the female member. Okay, but we know that he is either of the two. For example, if I say parent, okay, I'm not saying parents. Parents cover both the both mother and father, but I'm only say the word parent, that his parent has come. Now, only by listening to this word parent can you say that who has come, mother or father. after when you have not seen that particular person? No, you cannot say. Just because the person whom you are seeing is either male or either mother or father, but you cannot decide merely by listening to that particular word parent that who is he or who is she. So therefore that these type of nouns which we cannot say whether we are talking about male or female, but they can be either of the two, so that is known as common gender. For example, if I talk about musicians, okay, now obviously for it is musician, for a female or male musician, any of the two, we use the same word musician. We don't use any word like actor and actress. In case of actor and actress, we know that if I say actor, it means I'm talking about the male actor, and if I talk about the females, I can say actress. Okay, so there I can decide. Now if I say the word a singer, obviously whether there is male singer or female, we use the same word, that is singer. Okay, if we talk about the word spokesperson, if we talk about any spokesperson whether male or female, we use the same word, that is a spokesperson. Okay, for any politician or a personality, famous personality, we use the same word, and that is it is a common gender. Why so? Because he's of the either sex, but we don't know who I'm talking about. Okay, whom we are talking about. For example, parent, person, servant. Okay, these are the words which can be used for both male as well as female. Okay, so this is actually the correct word. However, servant can be have a female member, that is maid. Okay, however, servant is also used for the male and female both. Okay, but if there is maid servant, maid means the lady servant. Okay, all material and abstract nouns are considered neuter gender. Now we have some notes, some points to remember always. All material and abstract nouns. Material means, for example, if we talk about gold, silver, wood, or any material. For example, any raw material, whether it is metal, non-metal, or gases, it is always considered neuter gender. All the abstract nouns, they are always covered in neuter gender. Why so? Because if I say happiness, I cannot say she is very good. Okay, rather I say it is very good. Okay, everyone should be happy. For any abstract noun, for any emotions, we can only use the neuter gender. Okay. All collective nouns. Now when we talk about collective nouns we have already discussed in our earlier session, where I told you about the types of nouns. There is common noun, proper noun, collective noun. So I told you that collective noun is the collection of all the things. So collective noun is always considered neuter since they represent groups. Now this one is very, very important, and it is asked many times. For example, if I say this bunch of key is made of gold. Okay, is made of gold. It is very expensive. It is very expensive. Now if I write this sentence, just see this word, that is bunch. Bunch is obviously a collective noun, and it is a collective noun which is followed by singular form of verb. Okay, this bunch of keys made of gold. It is used for the bunch, which is a collective noun. Okay, that is why I have used the word it, because collective noun is always considered a neuter gender. Also, it is always considered singular noun. Preference should be given to the masculine gender. Now this is again very, very important, but this is the case of common gender. Now whenever there is any common gender, we can't decide whether we are talking about the male member or the female member by merely listening to the word. Okay, therefore if we have to write any pronoun for it, so we should always consider, or we should always prefer the masculine gender. Okay, for example, let me give you an example over here. If I say everyone or every person has submitted has submitted. Wait. Let me clear this. Submitted his his books, let's say. Okay, well, what it is, his books. Now obviously I'm talking about every person is here singular because of every, also it is common gender. Now has submitted his books, I have used the word his. Why so? Because whenever there is any common gender, we give preference to the masculine gender only. For example, if I say every student has submitted his fees, so I can say every student has submitted his fees. So his is used for the word student, though a student can be male as well as female. Okay, but here I'm using the word his. Why so? Because just merely by listening to the word student, I cannot say whether I'm talking about the male or the female member. That is why their student is a common gender. However, if you know well that which student you are talking about, you can use the gender likewise. For example, if there is only the girls at school and you are telling about the fees of those girls. Okay, there you can say every student has submitted her fees because the students are only girl over there. Okay, so for a particular group you can use common gender, but because only if you know that, okay, that all the students over here are girls. Okay, so in this manner we can use the common genders. Now let us move to the next one. Now we'll discuss the cases. But before cases, let me tell you that, as I told you, in cases of gender, when we talk about objects, we say that objects can also be masculine or feminine. This is actually the structure of personification. Now let me tell you what is personification. If we talk about personification, personification is actually a figure of speech which you can see in literature, which is used in poetic language. Okay, so personification is when a non-living thing behaves like a living thing. Okay, behaves like a living thing, behaves like living being or living thing. Okay, in that case we can use living being or living thing, we can use, that is called personification, and in that case we can use masculine gender or feminine gender for the objects, okay, or for those non-living things. For example, if I say moon has hidden her face, moon has hidden her face behind the clouds. Okay, behind the clouds. Now you can see over here that moon has hidden her face behind the clouds. So for moon I have used the word her because moon is always considered feminine gender. Okay, always remember that moon is a feminine gender. Okay, if I say that liberty has you can say not liberty. If I say justice has proved her beauty, so justice has proved her. Okay, so for any soft nature words we use feminine gender, and for the dangerous words or for the words which are harsh, okay, we use masculine gender. For example, if we talk about summer, winter, if we talk about death or ocean, we talk about any harsh word, we use masculine gender, or for any soft nature word we use feminine genders. Now what are the words which are covered in feminine? They can be ship, liberty, justice, spring, autumn, peace, pity. So for any soft nature word, okay, moon, we use feminine gender, and for harsh words we use masculine gender. Okay, for pen, sword, we use masculine gender. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Here we'll discuss cases of gender. Sorry. Now here we'll discuss cases of noun. Now what are the three cases of noun? One is nominative case, another is possessive case, and another one is objective case. Nominative case means when a pronoun is written on the subject place, or when a noun is written in the subject place or on the subject place, we use nominative case for it. These are actually the cases of pronoun. Then possessive case shows the possession of something. And objective case, when a noun or pronoun is used on the object place of a sentence. There we use the word objective case. Okay. First of all, we'll discuss nominative or subjective case used as the subject of a sentence or predicate nominatives. John is a student. Okay, so John is the subject. The winner is she. Okay, so when we use to locate the subjects of the sentence, we use the nominative case. Okay, if I say nominative case, actually we have three cases in pronoun. One is nominative case. Okay, another one is objective case, and after that we have possessive case. However, we will be reading these three cases again in the chapter of pronoun, and this one is really very important. Okay, so we have these three cases. One is nominative, objective, and then possessive. Now nominative case means, suppose we have a word I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. So these are the nominative cases. Okay, it means subjective cases. Now if I want to write the objective case of these, the objective case of I is me. For we write us. For you, we write you as it is. For he, we write him. For she, we write her. Okay, or for it, we write it. For they, we write them. Okay. Moreover, if we talk about possessive cases can be further divided into adjective and pronoun. Okay. Now what are these? If we talk about adjective, it is my, whereas for pronoun, it is mine. Okay. For us, for we, it is our as adjective and ours as pronoun. Okay. For you, we have your as adjective, whereas yours as pronoun. Okay. He, his, in both the cases. She, her for adjective and hers for the pronoun. It is used only in adjective case, that is its. They, for they, it is their in adjective and theirs in pronoun. Okay, so these are the cases of any pronoun or noun. Okay, now if I want to write the objective case used as the direct or indirect objects. Now we know well that we can have two types of objects in a sentence. One is direct object and another is indirect object, and we have covered both of these in our beginning of English language. Okay, or in the sentence structure or basics of English language. Or objects or of prepositions. Mary hit the ball. She gave him a gift. Okay, so Mary hit the ball. She gave him a, Mary hit the ball, she gave him a gift. These are two sentences. So you can say Mary hit the ball. So ball is an object. She gave him is object. A gift is also an object. So in the place of object, we have written objective case, that is him. And this is the objective case of he. Okay, so these are the two sentences where you can see the object. Okay, and that is objective case. Now, there are several words after which we can only use objective case. For example, if there is any preposition, after any preposition, we can only use objective case. For example, some of them. Okay. For example, some of them. So, of, after of, we have them, which is the objective case. Okay. And them is the objective case of they. Now, possessive case indicates ownership formed by adding apostrophe s. Now, this is very important. It is by adding apostrophe s. Okay, this s is separately over here. Adding apostrophe s. Now, how do we use apostrophe s? That is Sarah's book. It means this book belongs to Sarah. Okay, so we have used apostrophe s to show the possession of this particular person. Also, now this part is very important to show the possession. When there is any noun, we can show its possession in this following type. We can have in a noun, we can either have the living being or the non-living being. Okay, so we can have both the types of beings, living and non-living. For any living being, we use apostrophe s to show the possession of it. For example, Ravi's car. Okay, Ravi's car. So I have used apostrophe s to show the possession that this car belongs to Ravi. Okay. But for a non-living thing, we use the preposition of to show the possession. For example, the table the wood of this table. Okay, the wood of this table. It means I'm talking about the wood which belongs to this table or of which this table is made of. Okay, so the wood of this table. So for a non-living thing, I have used the word of, whereas to show the position of a living being, I have used apostrophe s. Okay, now one more thing is important over here. If the word which whatever the noun is there, if the word it ends with, if it ends with letter s, with letter s, okay, now it does not matter whether the noun which we are referring to is singular or plural, but if it is ending with s letter, we will use apostrophe s. Sorry, we will use apostrophe but not s to show its position. Okay, we will only use the apostrophe to show the position. For example, if I say Kalidas novels, okay, it means novels which are written by Kalidas. So I can say Kalidas's novels. I cannot say Kalidas's. Okay, I would say Kalidas novel. Kalidas's novel. So I have just put the apostrophe but not s again. Okay, if any word that ends with s, whether singular or plural, if it ends with letter s, we would only use apostrophe to show its position, but we will not use apostrophe s again. Okay, now let us move to this one again. Now we'll discuss some types of question in this session. Also, you can use the word possessive case in case of when you show exactly the for example, if you want to show if any abbreviation is there and you want to make it plural, you can use apostrophe s for that as well. For example, there are many MBAs. Okay, so MBA apostrophe s can be used to show the plurality of that particular word, that is MBA. Now we'll discuss some types of questions which may occur from this chapter of noun. So the type 1 question is identify the noun. It means a sentence will be given to you and you will be asked to identify noun from the given sentence. Identify the noun in the following sentence, and the sentence is the cat chased the mouse. Now first of all, what is the noun? Noun is any name of a person, place, animal or thing, or you can say anything which you can see surround you, but that should have a name. Okay, so we can have various categories of noun: common noun, proper noun. Okay, and of course this is also another identification of noun in the sentence, that noun either forms the subject or the object of a sentence. Now if you see the cat chased the mouse, so in this sentence the cat is the noun. Also before noun you can see article. If an article is written before any word, that means that word is a noun. Okay, so here this cat is a noun and the is an article, so cat is the noun. Again, the mouse is also the noun. Okay, so our answer will be nouns are in this sentence cat and mouse. So both of these are noun in this sentence. So this is one category of the sentence. Now not only noun but various types of parts of a speech can be asked in the same manner. You will be given the sentence and you will be asked that what is the noun in this sentence, what is the verb in this sentence, what is the adverb in this sentence. Also maybe possible some word is highlighted or underlined over there or bold over there, and you will be asked to identify which part of a speech is it. So in that manner also you can see the questions of noun. Okay, now let us move to the next type of question. That is on the singular or plural basis, which is exactly the most important type of question which occurs from the part of noun. You may have some words and you will be asked to make the plural or singular of those words. Also, it may be possible that you will be given a sentence and the plural noun is given over there, which is grammatically incorrect according to the context of the sentence, and you will be asked to identify the error in that sentence. Identify whether the following nouns are singular or plural. For example, if the word is given book, books, child, children. So book is singular, books is plural, child is singular and children is plural. So this is very, very simple. If you have been given the word criteria. Now what kind of word is this? Is this singular or plural? Of course this is plural. Okay, because the singular of this criteria is criterion. Okay, that is criterion. Okay, so this is singular. Now maybe possible there are some more words like you will be asked suppose you will be asked to write so the word is bacteria, and you will be asked whether it is singular or plural. So bacteria is a plural word, whereas bacterium is singular. So there are different nouns which you can see, and you will be asked for the conversion as well as the identification of those nouns. So here singular is book, child. Book and child are singular, whereas plural are books and children. Okay, now let us move to the next type of question. That is type 3, common or proper noun. Now determine if the following nouns are common or proper. So you will be asked to see whether the noun which is given to you is, or you can say what type of noun it is. Okay, whether it is common, proper, or may be possible any type of noun. Okay, so if you see these words, city, John, country, teacher, city is actually a common noun. Okay, because for any city we can use common noun. John is the proper noun. Okay, country is common noun because for any country we use the same word, that is common noun. Teacher is used as common noun. Okay, now teacher can also be common noun. Okay, so common, city, country, teacher, whereas proper is John. Okay. Now we'll discuss possessive noun. This is type 4 possessive noun question. Rewrite the following sentence with possessive noun. The house of Smiths is big. Now obviously if I want to show the that this house is belong to Smith, this house belongs to Smith, so I can either use Smith's house. Okay, is big. Okay, so I can write this sentence like this. Okay, the Smith's house is big. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Collective noun. Identify the collective noun in the following sentence. A group of birds flew overhead. Now maybe possible a collective noun is already given to you, but you need to identify that this is the collective noun. Okay, also you can be asked to identify the collection name. For example, we have various collections. For example, we say Pride of Lions. Okay, now pride is actually the collection of lines. Okay, so there are various collective nouns. Okay, we have already discussed this in the chapter of noun itself. So here we have a collective noun, that is flock, because a group of birds flew overhead is known as flock of birds. Okay, now we also use the word like gang. Okay, we have various collective nouns, army of soldiers. Okay, or you can say battalion, and you can say the word, you can use the word herd of cattle. Okay, there are various type of collective nouns. Okay, and we should learn the names of these collections. Now let us move to the next type of noun. Question from noun. There is gender of nouns. Determine the gender of the following nouns. Brother, sister, doctor, teacher, nurse. Obviously brother is you can say masculine, sister is feminine, doctor is masculine. Okay, or it can be used for the common gender as well, because for female doctor as well we use common gender. We use the doctor word. Okay, teacher is again a common gender, nurse is again a common gender. So we talk about brother, doctor, feminine, masculine brother and doctor, feminine sister and teacher, and common nurse. However, sister is obviously feminine. Okay, teacher can be used for both. Teacher can be used in common noun because it is possible that teacher can be either male or female. Okay, so teacher is also a common noun. Okay, this is also a common noun. So teacher is also common noun. Now let us move to the next one. This is next type of question from noun. Noun case. Identify the noun case of the underlined word. The boy kicked the ball. So here nothing word is underlined, but we have asked about the noun case. So nominative case, subject boy. Okay, so each and every word has been described. Nominative case, subject boy. Okay, the boy is nominative case, the ball is the object. So we have written both the cases over here. Okay, but you will be given the sentence, so in which some word is underlined, and you will be asked about the gender or the case of that particular word. Change the following nouns into their plural forms. So for tree we use trees, for child we use children, city cities, and mouse mice. Okay, so trees, children, cities, and mice. These are the plural of these words. Now the next type of questions, change the following nouns into possessive forms: girl, girls, man, men's, cat, cats, or dog, dogs. Okay. Now we simply have to put apostrophe s after all the words. Fill in the blank with the correct noun. He has 3: coffee, chocolate, tea, or books. Now if I say 3, it means I'm talking about numbers. Okay, and if I'm talking numbers, we need only countable noun over here. Now we have coffee. Coffee is uncountable. Chocolate is countable, but here we are talking about 3, so we need countable plural noun over here. We need to fill countable as well as plural noun over here, because we are talking about 3, which is plural in number. So obviously if it is more than 1, the noun should be plural. Okay. Now tea is again uncountable. This cannot come, this cannot come, this cannot come. Only books word will come. Why so? He has 3 books. So here the correct word to be used is books. Okay, so answer will be he has 3 books. Now let us move to the another type of question, that is type 11 question. Choose the correct noun. Choose the correct noun to complete the sentence. She bought a new dash. Okay. Now she bought a new. A means 1. Okay. Now dress, dresses, dressing, or dressed. Now dressing and dressed cannot come because these are not nouns, first of all. And new is an adjective which can only qualify the word noun. Now dresses are plural, but we need singular over here. Okay, singular noun. We need over here that is singular noun. Okay, because we have only one thing, whatever it is. Okay, and we need only a noun. Therefore, dress is the correct word to be used over here. So she bought a new dress will be the correct sentence. Now here we have completed all the types of questions, in fact many types of questions that may occur from this chapter of noun. Now in the next session we'll be discussing some more about noun. I hope this much is clear to you all and you have understood each and every concept very well. Okay, so that's all for today. In the next session we'll be discussing noun in we'll be elaborating noun on the basis of some questions and some more concepts. I hope this much is clear to you, and if you want to learn more about grammar and noun, stay connected with me. Okay, till then, thanks to you.